afternoon. That's getting much better. We are about to begin with this afternoon session, and I'm aware that when people eat the kind of meals that we have eaten, then usually there's a struggle between the physical and the soul and the spirit. So the spirit may be willing, but the physical one will refuse. And many of us will begin to divide land, as we say it back in Kenya. So I'm going to see many heads turning and rolling. I give you the permission to nudge them with your elbow when they begin to do such kind of things. Did anybody hear that? Thank you very much if you heard that. Before we begin with our next session, I am requested to call upon the session or panelists who are going to come after our session to meet out there. And I'm talking to the following. Mr. Iradukunda Olivier from IPRC Kigali. Then rapporteurs, we have Mr. Geoffrey Rutagambwa. Hey, I'm trying. And then we have Dr. Consolata Mutisia from Kabete National Polytechnic in Kenya. The lead speaker will be Reverend Father Dr. Fabian Hagenimana, who is the Vice Chancellor of Ines Ruhengeri. And the panelists will be Penina Kemunto Kemwa from the Rift Valley Technical Training Institute in Kenya, Wineza Pacific from IPRC Kigali. Then we are going to have Kumba Maganga, Youth Education, Girl Empowerment and Leadership and Social Media Specialist from the Democratic Republic of Congo. We are going to have Safo Kontaka Obed from the Technical University of Ghana. And lastly, Valerie Akoth Odongo from the Kisumu National Polytechnic. Valerie Odongo is actually a member of my panel, so she should be coming up here. So very quickly, I will call upon the members of this panel to just join me on stage so that we can begin. Thank you very much, and let's proceed now. I will call on stage, and as I call them, please, let's put our hands together for these eminent people who are going to join me here to lead the next session. Marire, who is the rapporteur, Murembwa Yire. You'll forgive me if I can't get the names correct. The Deputy Principal in charge of academics and training at IPRC Ngoma. Is he around? Is he around? Oh yes, please. As she's going to make her way to this place, could we also have Uwimana Jean-Claude, Head of Languages Department at IPRC Karongi. They will not make their way here because they are rapporteurs, so they will be able to get us from that end. Let's put our hands together for Mr. Benson Masharia, who is the lead speaker. And of course, he is a program manager at Capa Youth Empowerment Institute, an NGO doing vocational training to marginalized and underprivileged youths in Kenya. They are based in Nairobi, but they are working in 42 different training centers across 22 counties. So he's going to be with us here as the lead presenter. Could I also have members of the panelists, Mr. David Tumisang Selo from the Kingdom of Lesotho. Mr. David, are you there? If he's there, please. Are you there? Oh, yeah, there you are. You need to join us. Why are we not clapping? So let's agree. Whenever I call a name, just clap. I will not remind you. The next one is Valerie Akoth Odongo from the Kisumu National Polytechnic in Kenya. The next gentleman I'm calling is Mugambo Gad from IPRC Tumba, which is Rwanda Polytechnic. The next person I'm calling is Thomas Ngala Kahindi from the Kenya Technical Training College, KTTC in Kenya. And lastly, I'm calling Mr. I'm not sure whether this is a Mr. I'm calling Titian. How do you pronounce that? Si or Sai? He is from Senegal. Is he around? Silence means he's not there. All right. Thank you very much. And welcome, panelists. We have 1 hour, and it has begun. So we will have to talk about career guidance for informed choices in technical and vocational training, education and training. But before we do this, we need to plug on to what we did in the morning. We had very good discussions and presentations from eminent people who talked to us. Chief among them was the 4 C's. So I want us to bear in mind those 4 C's even as we will be going on with this discussion. Then after them, there was this discussion that we went through before lunch, where we were looking at developing future thought leaders of a prosperous Africa. And now we are coming into career guidance for informed choices in technical training and vocational education and training. Now, of course, even as we are doing this, remember what we were told, that we need to be aware of ourselves, even when people are not watching us. So what do we do when we're in private? Those are some of the things we need to know, because what we do in private follows us in public. And now that we're talking about careers, this becomes very important. And lastly, ladies and gentlemen, before us, we have a mixture of voices. We have voice of experience from people who are actually doing the actual career training, and also we have voices seeking experience and voices who are viewing what they are being subjected to. And we want to hear whether they think these things are relevant or they're just part of the usual things that will not bring about change. So I want to give this moment to Mr. Benson Macharia to take us through a brief presentation and just make his remarks before we open it up to everybody else. Mr. Macharia.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, my name is Benson Macharia, as you've heard. I work with Capa, the Empowerment Institute, which is an NGO that does scaling or in technical courses under CBET framework, that is competency-based education and training. Our nature of trainings that we offer is modular in nature, or short courses we offer to these youths who are underprivileged, less privileged, from urban, peri-urban, rural society in Kenya. I don't want to take much of your time. I want us to go through these. I've been given a simple task today, just to do a presentation about career guidance for informed choices in TVET. It begs a question to all of us. What is career guidance? And how is it important? So these are some of the questions that we need to answer through this fora. What is career guidance and counseling? Why do we need career guidance and counseling? And how impactful is it? These are very important questions that we need to address in this panel and today. I want to go straight to have some brief definitions a bit. Career guidance, as defined by Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, covers services intended to assist individuals of any age at any point throughout their lives to make educational, training, and occupational choices and manage their careers. These services include career information in print, assessment and self-assessment tools, counseling interviews, career education, career management programs, testers, programs, etc. So having defined what is career guidance, we need to look at the next aspect. What is career counseling? It's a process that focuses on helping one understand one's own self, as well as work trends, so that one can take an informed decision about career and education. Career counseling helps manage a diverse range of problems, such as low concentration levels to poor time management, trust issues with family, and non-agreement between parents and children, on which career to choose. I know most of us seated here, at one point, you were supposed to select or choose what to do. You are doing what you're doing because you made a choice. Somebody maybe guided you, or the otherwise is true. Nobody cared what you're doing. And these are very important aspects that we have to address. Why do we have people working in the areas and fields they are working? What informs their decision to do a career A, not B? What informs the decision of not being a doctor but becoming a pilot? Why you assisted? If you assisted, well and good. But there are so many folks outside there, so many youths, who do not have this information, who do not have these aspects of guidance. Let's progress. A career information. This covers a systemic labor market information, occupational outlook, as projections of the labor market, jobs on demand, labor market survey, numbers and ratios of unemployment, future career, and job opportunities, courses, and occupations. In Africa, we are having a challenge today where so many people are educated, but they are not employed. They are willing to work, they are ready to work, but they are not employed. There are things that we need to note as youth. The unemployment challenge has been defined in so many ways, and the causes have been deliberated by so many educationists. But I want us to landmarkly identify 3 of them. Number 1, people are unemployed because of poor career choices. Number 2, because of mismatch of skills. And number 3, the job gaps. You have a career, yes, but you're not what the employer wants. Now, we need to look at career education as a part of educational curriculum, assists students to make decisions at key transition points. Key transition points. It's very important for us to understand that. Key transition points. Which are these points? Maybe you're a senior 6, going to university. Maybe you're going, why do you choose sciences versus arts? Why do you do what you do, or the course that you did at vocational level, or university, or any other college? I don't want to read the literature, I just want to go to the point. Aims to develop the career management competencies to equip students to manage their career pathways and opportunities throughout their life. So the forum that we have today here, we are discussing the importance of guidance, the importance of counseling. How has it managed to make us better people in life? Career counseling conducted on one-to-one basis in small groups, in which attention is focused on the distinctive career issues faced by unemployment. Unemployment is one of the biggest challenges facing Kenya and Africa at large, attributed to graduates with unmatching skills to the labor needs, poor career choice, as I said earlier, negative attitude towards certain trades. You'll find somebody saying, I can't do this. This is for these people. This is for women. This is for attitude. On one of the responses to this challenge, TVET sector reform program to improve post-TVET outcomes through career guidance and counseling. Capa, as an institution, the case study now, has embraced career guidance and counseling as a pillar of post-training success. This presentation summarizes positive outcomes of a successful career guidance in Capa model. This is our model. We do training for a short period of time. I don't want to go into details of the model, but we have reached over 40,000 youths in 7 years in Kenya. But there is a keen and negotiable factor in the model, and that is career guidance and counseling. Why? Why do we train you and review being jobless? What is the need of that training? It is a waste of resource, time, energy, etc. Let's move on. Ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to understand how Capa model does it. Capa ensures all trainees enrolled undergo personality test called interest inventory test. It is a personality assessment that helps learners identify careers that meet their interest. I know, you know, that when you do a career that you love, that fits your interest, possibility of success, they are so high. But if you are pushed to do something, you'll just be doing it for formality purposes. This is a series of questions about what one likes and do not like to do. And then they match the individual likes and dislikes to the career. It is a fact that when you choose a career that matches your overall interest and personality, you're more likely to enjoy the job and to be successful. True or false? Very true. Now, the personality evaluated by interest inventory tests are a number of them, at least 6 of them. Realistic. We are looking at somebody, trying to guide somebody. Are you realistic? Is the job that you're going to do require a realistic person? Are you a realistic person? Working with tangible objects and physical activities. Do you like doing that? If you're a mechanic, are you a mechanic because your father said become a mechanic? Or because you liked playing with, anything that is mechanical in nature? 2, investigative. This is looking at analytical. There are some career pathways that require somebody who is analytical, who can get into deep sea on evaluating issues and aspects. Artistic, creative and expressive activities. If you're doing hospitality, how do you do the table setup? Are you a creative person who can be able to come up with different table setups at different times? If you are doing any career that you choose, does it require creativity? Even if you are an entrepreneur, are you a creative entrepreneur? And then social activities. Activities that involve assisting others. I'll give an example of hospitality that we have said. Why should that waiter or waitress serve me while annoyed? Hospitality means being happy even when you're not in a situation to be happy. That's why when you go to that hotel, like for example, the way we went for lunch, you find people smiling at you. You enjoy eating that food. She enjoys or he enjoys to do that work because it's a relational thing. Enterprising. Activities concerned with persuading and leading people. These are some of the things that we consider when you're doing one-on-one test with these youths. So that when you're choosing any that course, you should be able to match at least your personality with the career pathway. And finally, conventional. Activities that are well-defined and structured. Are you this kind of a person who loves doing things in a systematic way? If you say this is the exit, you will not use it for entry. That kind of a person can fit in certain jobs. For example, security. You have structures that are already laid. You know who should inform who. And therefore, these are some of the things that we consider when you're doing guiding and counseling. Now, importance of career guidance in TVET. It reduces dropout during training. Most of us here are grappling with issues of students enrolling in a program, and 1 year down the line, they drop. They say, this is not mine. So when you get this youth, they pick a course that they're interested in, and as a TVET or a vocational training institute, you find that there are not dropouts. Number 2, create opportunity for career growth and advancement. If you pick a career when you're guided, well guided, you realize Opportunities of growth come automatically. You feel this is not enough for me if you did a diploma or a certificate. You want to go higher and higher. And finally, youth enjoy learning, thus high performance. If you are well guided, you take a course that you feel it suits your interest, your personality, the output in terms of the results are high. Now, what are the benefits of career guidance to the industry? Because all of us here, we are not training and consume. As trainers, we do not consume the skills that we train. We are training for somebody outside there. So what are the benefits? Practically trained graduates can be industry brand and ambassadors. When this person is doing something he likes and you have been trained practically, they become a brand ambassador. And that's why at times you find some of these organizations or advertisements, you'll find somebody, a billboard with somebody there. Maybe advertising water or something. Employees' skills upgrade on identified gaps. Ladies and gentlemen, when these youths are guided, they pick courses they like. And it's very easy for the industry to identify the gaps and fill the gaps during the training. Increased workforce productivity. When you do what you love doing, you don't need to be told. You're not watch lookers. You're not waiting for 5 to go home. You will do it and go beyond. Productivity shall always be high. Increased industry competitiveness. I pose this to you. Assuming all of us, we are well trained and guided. We are working for different organizations. Our output is so high. Our creativity is at the top level. Don't you think the competition in the industry will go higher? And when the competition goes higher, creativity comes in. Value for products or anything else is realized by the industry. Targeted talent pipeline for industry's recruitment and retention. Those days, I know blue chip companies used to visit vocational trainings and universities to pick some of the top talents so that they can enroll them in a management training program or something and then work for them. This can only be realized when we have career guidance. Increased capability for production and quality goods and services. Increases chances of job retention after training. When you're well guided, you choose a career that you like, therefore you will not quit job after 3 days. And yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I indicated to him the time, but he looked up and just said, thank you very much. I didn't know the thing was coming to an end. Let's give him a better round of applause. Thank you very much for that. Now, I will give each of the panelists just 2 minutes to add on to something before we open it up for discussion. We'll begin with you, the man from the Kingdom of Lesotho, David.
2 minutes. Just add something. As Mr. Besson has already said, career guidance is the most important factor in the youth development and empowerment. So I would like to talk about how this career guidance can be better improved. It can be improved by having a school-based career guidance programs. The youth should be able to get access to career guidance courses at a very young age. It should start at a secondary level, but then most African countries you will find that the youth is exposed to career guidance when they finish the secondary, and already they had made the choices of some of the courses which are going to be unnecessary in their higher level education. So it would be wise if the youth, the young leaders of Africa get access to career guidance program at a very young age so that they could be able to explore and realize the skills they have and be able to decide on which courses are important for their careers. Thank you.
I think that's important for those of us involved there. We need to catch them when they are young. We don't wait for them to be too old, then we want to begin reformatting the factory settings. Then it becomes very difficult. Thank you very much. Akoth?
Okay, thank you very much. What I'll add, I'll urge the government in our countries to allow people to choose their career and allow the youth to do what they're passionate about doing. Because if you're passionate about doing something, you are heading somewhere. Like a person has been chosen for a career, and then you find some doctors, a person is called to do medicine, and then after maybe 1 year, he or she will drop out. Or if he pursues the career, you find that the doctor will inject a patient with the wrong drug. Yeah. So we should allow the youth to choose our career, and the youth should also should do what they love doing, and they should have passionate about what they want to do. They should not allow people to choose for them their career. Thank you very much.
Again, I think that's a very important point that is coming from the voices that are seeking experience. Allow us to do what we enjoy doing. Don't force us to do things. The parents who are here and those of us who are being called octogenarians earlier on, sometimes we want our children to live our dream by forcing them to become engineers and doctors and professors when they want to become musicians or they want to become electrical engineers. So please, I think, listen to our voices here, and we are saying that we want to do what we enjoy doing, not what you want us to do, to live your dream. I want to be very specific about yourself. Because you are the host nation, I want to give you an opportunity to talk to us about the perception of TVET across Africa and with specific reference to Rwanda itself. And I want to give you 2 minutes. If you want to pass, you can pass by 30 seconds because you are the host. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Mgaogad, and I'm a youth leader and a student from IPRC Tumba. I'll be talking about the perception of TVET education in Africa, but particularly in Rwanda. So I'll be starting in last few years. In last few years, the career guidance was made in informal process where the career choices were made in limited streams, and that was due to the fact that the way they were made, they were static. It means that the demand of labor market were static. But due to the globalization and the development, the government has seen that there are many gaps which are caused by losing clear career guidance. That is how the government tried to improve education, and they tried to set up so many strategies, like also starting TVETs. That's when those problems were started to be solved. So on my behalf, I will be emphasizing on my school, because that's where I got also that career guidance. It is IPRC Tumba. We have so many activities at the school that helps us to be more guided in our careers. So we have so many competitions. We have the office of the career guidance. We meet so many people. The school brings so many people to talk to us. So we are well guided, and that helps us to get clear careers that we will love and that we will make, so that they will be more productive and they will be productive to the country, and that will also overcome those problems which were seen before they introduce a clear career guidance. On the behalf of Africa, there are some countries which do it in the same way as we do it in Rwanda, or maybe they do it better than we do. But most of African countries, there are some problems where you may find that they think career guidance or how we are introduced in TVETs, because we are now talking about TVETs. They think that some people who join TVET, they are those ones who have failed some courses to join the universities. That is the ideology which must be improved, because it is not helping us to solve those problems which are caused by losing a clear career guidance. So that's what I will emphasize on. So that is needed to be improved, so that career guidance will start from the top, because if it is put in TVET, it means that we are not supposed to be guided in TVET. We are supposed to be guided the area, because in TVET we are coming to put our hands on skills. So it means that we must be helped the area, so that in TVET we will be there while we have chosen the career that will help us to do things which are more productive. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think that is a very important point that has come out from there, that programs should respond to the kind of talents that we have, and that it's also important that we turn around the stereotype that begins to look at TVET as being a program for those who have failed in one subject or the other. Remember, it's a career, and we are building a career, and therefore we need to work out how we turn around that particular stereotypes or perception. And lastly, we have Kahindi, Ngala Kahindi. Your remarks?
Okay, thank you. Okay, I want to talk about the importance of career guidance. Actually, it solves the problems of seeing doctors who normally Google before they go and operate people. We have seen this in many countries. I want to believe that this is not happening in Rwanda. So it's very, very important that what I want to urge is that we, as the training institutions, the TVET and the government at large in all the African countries, to come together and to make sure that they identify the problems in the market, because what we're training to is the job market. Some of the areas, according to our courses and our field of specialization, is now flooded. So the problems is that we complete our courses, the area is flooded, we are nowhere to go. We don't get any opportunity because already the area is flooded. But if we can be guided well, and the government is working hand in hand to know in different industries that what we lack. Maybe some have been retired, we still need some more engineers in this field, we need more doctors in this field. That is when you can guide us well, because we will be knowing that in this year, when students completed their Form 4 level, they can be guided that the courses that is now more needed in the market is this course and this course and this course. Rather than leaving students to go to the university and the college because our parents want us to become doctors, others want to become as engineers, and you do something which is out of your passionate, you end up, you are doing for the benefit of your parents, but not because you love it, and that's not good. So what I encourage is that the government in different countries in Africa should work hand in hand with the institutions to make sure that the career guidance comes from above, and this is what we have, and because this is what we need in different market and different countries because of the partnership we have in Africa. Thank you.
That's very good, and you must agree with me that my panelists are very good, eh? Is anybody understanding English? You must agree with me that my panelists are very good, yeah? Thank you very much. You clap for them. They have given us very good, very, very good points there. And I think what Kahindi is telling us is that we should be planning ahead. We should be planning ahead so that we train people who are going to meet the specific demands or gaps, rather than just training everybody for anything. We should have that kind of planning, and that's the challenge that is posing to many of us. Thank you very much for those good remarks. And I want to open up this discussion because I know we have just about 10 minutes to go. You may have had an opportunity to take down some notes, or you want something clarified. This is your moment to come to it. As you begin to, could you please take the microphone? As we prepare for that, I want to pose some questions which I want you to think through. How do we deal with the mushrooming virtual expert? He has alluded to it, that now you go to meet doctors, and as they are talking to you, they are Googling to find solutions to your problem. Yeah? We now have Doctors Without Borders, and Kenya, of course, those of us from there are familiar with what Safaricom is now doing, that we don't need to walk into a typical hospital. How do we deal with that? How do we deal with lecturers, teachers, engineers, who are just known by title but cannot do actual things? Are we trying to fit ourselves into times that are already past by insisting that doctors should know it all? What are we trying to do? Are there any comments or questions from down there? Let's start from, I was aware of people who did not speak in the morning. Huh? There are some I saw, others spoke. Let's start from this gentleman here. You say your name and where you're from, and then pose your question or comment in very briefly.
Good afternoon. Inore. I hope I've said it the right way. But how many Kenyans do you have in the house? Kenyans? I think they have the Inore. And we have our Wamlambes. So, Wamlambes. Kenyans, where are you? Wamlambes. Yeah. So I also want to teach the Rwandans, other people from other countries, that in Kenya, once we say Wamlambes, you repeat Wamnyonyez. Wamlambes. Hey, say Wamnyonyez. Wamnyonyez. Wamlambes. Wamlambes. At least those of you asleep now have woken up. So my name is Paul Karanja. I'm a student at the Technical University of Kenya, the biggest university south of Sahara.
What is your
north
question?
North of Limpopo.
Mr. Karanja, your comment or your question. I know politics, and when you get a microphone, you'll go to politicize here. Thank you, and sorry for cutting you short.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, yeah.
I think my comment is going to be directed to Mr. Macharia and you, Prof, based on the last question that you asked. And I'm going to use a case example of myself. When I was young, at one point I used to say that I wanted to become a pilot. At the other point, I wanted to become a manager. At that time, I was confused. I didn't know what I wanted to do. But as I was growing up, at one point, when my dad could buy things, most of the time, I could just open up those things and try to repeat the process, or maybe try to mend those things. Which means with time, I realized that I have some passion for engineering. And fortunately for me, when I went to the university, I'm taking mechanical engineering. So basically, the point I'm trying to add up to your presentation is that you should be insisting on passion. That a person, for example, a student, should take a course based on what they like most. If, for example, you like mathematics, go take a course that involves with mathematics. If, for example, you like stitching things around, then go take a course that lies with art. So maybe that's something that maybe you can consider in your discussions, other discussions. Thank you very much. Wamlambes.
Thank you very much. The gentleman in a black jacket. Then I will be coming this side, so don't think I'm ignoring you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Chimima Nobat. I'm a student in Ines Rangeri. I'm group president. So I start with answering the question you imposed or the idea you asked. For me, to have guidance, career guidance, I think the parents have the much info to allow those students or their student or their children to follow their career guardians. Because when parent is doctor, he think or she think that his boy or girl will be like him. So another thing, what we can think about, how those parents will understand to allow their children to follow their career. Yeah, that is the problem. I'm asking, even you can ask yourself, what can we do to help those parents to understand or to allow their children to follow their career? This one will help their children to follow their career guidance, even to solve the main problem which is involved in many countries. And even when their children, they study the course they understand and they have the capacity, this will help them to study those things well, and it will help them in the future solution. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think you're making very good remarks. I will want to go to the lady in white. There's another lady. I'm being very gender insensitive now. There's a lady in white, and fortunately, the other lady in white is also there. Then there will be a lady here in gray, in that order. Then I have seen the gentleman here in a shirt, and there's a lady in black. You guys, I know you wanted to hear your voices. Let's start from there.
Ok, merci. J'ai bien aimé vos interventions, vos panels qui étaient assez pertinents. C'était vraiment riche. Donc moi, j'aimerais en fait intervenir sur 2 points. Concernant toujours le thème, c'est sur l'aspect sensibilisation, comme ils ont eu à le dire. Il faut qu'à un moment donné, en fait, que nous les jeunes, ou bien surtout les jeunes filles, et excusez-moi de sexiser le point, mais surtout les jeunes filles, en fait, on se dit que les domaines techniques, c'est fait pour les hommes. Comme si on n'a pas le même cerveau que ces hommes-là, comme si on ne réfléchit pas de la même manière que ces hommes. Donc aussi, il y a la société qui nous pousse à savoir que non, les domaines techniques, c'est plus fait pour les hommes que pour les femmes. Donc il faudrait qu'on arrive, qu'on cesse de dramatiser, si vous voulez, les domaines techniques pour qu'on dise que non, c'est réservé à un clan de personnes et que voilà, l'autre clan ne peut pas faire le domaine. Donc sur l'autre point, en fait, sur lequel j'aimerais intervenir, c'est surtout au niveau des parents. Il faut que nous voyions des modèles. Parce que pourquoi souvent les gens n'arrivent pas à embrasser ces domaines-là? C'est parce qu'il n'y a pas assez de modèles. On ne nous montre pas assez de modèles pour qu'on puisse embrasser ces domaines. Donc voilà.
I must say that I did not understand anything you said. But from the reaction of those who understood, I think it was good. Perhaps somebody who can translate that for us, if there is somebody who will just do a brief summary of what she has said. Oh, we have somebody here. So please hold on to what she has said. Let's listen to the lady at the back. Then we will have to listen to this. I think it's a good point. Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Nkoti Silwane from South Africa. Just one request for Mr. Benson is, are we able to access the presentation? And then the question that I have is that it's concerning what the gentleman from Rwanda said about the negative stereotype amongst TVET colleges, that it's for those who are, for lack of a better word, less ambitious. It cuts across. Even in South Africa, we have that same problem. How do I address such a challenge? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think the local organizing committee will respond to the first one about access of the presentation. The other one is a debate that we must go on. There's a lady in gray. That's how we were going. Please, let's make it as short as my sister from South Africa has done. Thank you.
Evening.
Good evening.
First, I'd like to appreciate the TVET team. They are doing a great job, whereby in our institutions, the students are able to know what they are able to do through the TVET. The reason as to why you find that most of the engineers or the doctors are doing the wrong thing is because as they join their universities or their colleges, they have that certain list that they are being called for certain courses, whereby you find that that person is not passionate about the course that the teachers or the lecturers chose for that person. So what I will like to tell our parents here and the lecturers that are here, that as they choose a course for a certain student, let them inform them so that you don't join a university or a college just because you were called for that certain course. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Could you give her the microphone to summarize very briefly what my sister there talked about, and then we come here.
Thank you. My name is Zirita Mtawas Clemens. I'm the principal of IPRC Tumba, one of the polytechnics in Rwanda. She mentioned, or she highlighted, the importance of girls in TVET, where most of the girls are not represented due to parents' influence, especially when parents think that girls can't do TVET or do technical studies. She also emphasized on the lack of role models, where girls, most of the time, they need to see people who have done it, and they can't see it due to lack of role models. People are doing it or who are in the same field. She also emphasized on the traditional thinking of parents, where they think like maybe a mechanic, automobile mechanic should be a man or should be this and this, rather than a girl, as if the girls don't have the same brain or the same capacity. And I would add that she represented well the Miskik. Miskik is one of the events that happens in Rwanda, and it calls upon the girls to change the society, whereby they're not just showcasing the beauty, but they are showcasing the beauty of their mind. And she was crowned as Miss Gig. Thank you.
Wow. You see, I was not wrong. I told you there was something very important she said. As a linguist, I was able to get that she was talking very closely about something called STEM for us in Kenya. And I felt somebody needed to understand that. For your information, we are very happy. Even the person who has just translated this for us is a lady and heading an institution. The chairperson of Capa, professor who was here, is a professor, and she's heading Technical University of Mombasa. So again, the ladies, and you have seen I've given 4 of them at a go, isn't it? Why are you not clapping for me for supporting the culture? So we start here. There is a gentleman here. The gentleman in a shirt, there is one here, then there is the one in white. People, make it very short. We have less than 5 minutes so that we allow the next team to come in. Thank you, welcome.
Thanks a lot. Trevor Muchela from South Africa. I liked your 6 personality evaluations, but there's something I just want to highlight on that, and I'd like the panel broadly to try and address that. The monopoly, where I think my dear friend from Lesotho can relate. When you're in a country where the biggest industry is mining, for example, people are often told, this is what your country can offer you. So go to mining, you'll get a job, definitely. You know what I'm saying? So how do we try and eliminate monopoly from career guidance in that sense? Another thing would be the institutions. So say, for example, an institute doesn't have a course or doesn't offer a course that I'd like to do, but they need me as a student for the financial revenue. How do we try and alleviate institution from monopolizing that career guidance and leading people astray?
All right, there was the gentleman here. We make it very brief now. Yes.
Thank you very much. My name is Romain Solomon Sikitagwa from Ghana, Takoradi Technical University, the Student Representative Council President. I also think that we need to, with regards to career development, we need to look at the psychology side of it. I read a book, The Spirit Controlled Temperament, written by Dr. Tim Lai. If you read the book, you realize that we have the sanguine, the melancholy, the choleric, and the phlegmatic. Then at a point when I read the book, I realized that I didn't even know myself. You have to know yourself, what you're good at. Then when I realized, I saw myself featured in this particular one of the temperament. Then I realized that there are some, if you look at the sanguine, they are very good salesmen, very good evangelists. If you come to religion, they are the good people we are looking for in the media. Then you go to the other side, looking at the melancholy, the educators, and all those people. And you look at the choleric, where you can get the attorneys, those legal brains. And the melancholy, which you can get the engineers and people who are good at the craft. You see? So you need to learn to understand some of these temperament. What are you good at? You must study. You have to read board. So I want to encourage my colleagues that even as you are growing up, you may not even have the people to counsel you, but try to search. Knowledge is everywhere. It's very broad. Try to read. And the stereotypes, I thought it's only Ghana. Technical university, when you go, you don't have the good brains. That is so sad. Because if you look at every country, if a country can actually develop, you need to have that industrial base. Which are the people who are going to man the industries? Without the technical education, without those who are engineers and those who are good at the technical side. So it is very, very important that we have to place much premium on that of technical education and then also try to read, to search, to know where we are good at, to be able to function properly in the society. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. As we move on, I think he has raised something that we need to think about as a team. The fact that there is this stereotyping about technical training. And it could be also part of a result of colonial hang-up, where we associate technical things with manual things. And therefore, if they're manual, then they are less analytic and therefore not intellectual. We need to begin to think about that because we are running away from that. And it is unbelievable that one would want to associate technical things with menial jobs. Yes, sir. Are you the one?
Yes, yes.
I thought it was this other gentleman, but just speak. The man here, but just speak.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good evening again.
Good evening.
My name is Thierry from IPRA Sekitavi. And my questions reflect on Kahindi, I guess.
Yes.
We are talking about career guidance, but we set it aside about economic development in Africa, especially. But you see, most of the people's youth, they are focused on the paid careers. But if you find that our young generations or these generations that are being born, they are, how are we going to focus on career guidance for those kids who are, so let me repeat my questions to be clear. You see, most of the paid careers is where we all, as our direction, we all focus on paid careers. But how are we going to focus career guidance on such subjects or careers? Why we set this aside economic development of our continent? Thank you.
All right, so we should not focus on the white-collar job, and we should also look at the others. There's a gentleman who we would be very unfair to if we didn't give him the microphone. That's the one we had wanted to speak before the one who has spoken. Hey, there you go.
Good afternoon. My name is Edwin Isoe from Kenya, and I happen to be Ben's student. So I've gone through what he has presented there, and I can say something that is working. Now, my addition would be to what the lady said and what she has just said, that let's give chance to what is attractive to me, what I like. And my challenge would be to the government, policymakers, and the society at large. Let's make things that make the economy move attractive to, let's say, young men like me. If farming is what makes our economy move, make it attractive to me so that I can be interested in that line. If you don't make it attractive to me, even if you push me there, I won't be there. So make it attractive for me, and then I will develop interest in that, and automatically I'll get into it. So if let's say it's mining that is moving an economy in your country, make it attractive. Don't make it look like if I go there, I'll just be dusty the whole day, go back in the evening, in the morning, go there, be dusty, go back home. It won't be attractive for me. If it is something that is made in a way that I can see from here, I can drive a comfortable life, drive a good car, live in a good house, help the society, and then I'll be there. So my challenge is to society and the government at large, make it attractive for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Those are real voices from the real teacher. Before I pick the next lot, at the back, guide me. How many more minutes? 10. Wow, if you have 10, then let's get the lady in black. After the lady in black, we will cross to the gentleman in a it's not an agbada, but it's a very nice white. You will tell us the name, eh? Then we will come here. Please go ahead.
Okay, my name is Mercy Chebet from KTTC, Nairobi, Kenya. And I want to respond to what my brother there said concerning the small or the children. So, like in Kenya, high school students have learning skills as a lesson. And that's normally deals with guidance and counseling. So it's my request to the TVET and the education that the guiding and counseling should start in primary schools and should be a lesson, and even it might be tested in the national exam. Say that as the child grows, he or she knows what he is supposed to do, and will not get these cases like the doctors have to go to Google before attending to a patient. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Pass it to the other side. Yeah?
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Ahmed Ismaila. I'm the SG president of Kaduna Polytechnic, Nigeria. At times, the problem goes beyond passion. We normally get it wrong from secondary school, where the students have to make a choice between sciences, social sciences, and arts. We've seen a lot of students trying to be medical doctors because their parents are doctors, or they want to be engineers just because their parents are engineers. But if you look at the background, they are weak. For example, a student that wants to be a mathematician but is weak in math, how can you become a mathematician when you're weak in math? So the guidance and counseling unit should have a synergy with the parents in advising the child on what to do. If you're weak in maths, you can never become a mathematician. If they allow you to proceed, then you're going to be a failure in the future. So instead of allowing you fail, it's better they guide you and encourage you to do what you are good at. Going through your courses, there is something you're strong at, and there are things you're weak at. So if they go through what you're strong at, they will be able to guide you and direct you on what to do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bring it to the very front, this side, this side, this side. Thank you. Give it to this man, gentleman.
Thank you. My name is Kalima Vincent, good president of IPRC Tumba students. My question goes to Mr. Benson. Here in Rwanda, we have two challenges. We have parents and we have those who are in charge in the Ministry of Education, which is that students, after completing a certain level, to join another level, when they set condition is to give them their desires, they consider performance. Like me, my dream was to study electricity, become electrical engineer. But due to the fact that I scored or I performed fail, they will select for me a certain combination. They can select for me to study plumbing. Because I didn't score first grade. Mr. Benson, how can you advise those who are in charge so that they can help students to join or to join and to be completing what they desire? Because it affects us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I want to proceed this way, even as we respond to this from the floor. If there is anybody with a suggestion or any answers to any of the questions that have been posed, that's the person I want to give an opportunity. Otherwise, I will come back this side and allow the panelists to respond, and we wrap up this session. Anybody with a solution? And I will be watching and listening. If it is not a solution, I'll stop you and I move to the next person. Thank you. What is your solution to?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Evans Odepokal from Kenya.
Yes.
Student of Ben. I'll talk about mental and psychology.
What is it the solution to?
Yeah, solution to that.
To what?
We can mobilize the community at large in all the countries. You know, we believe that dirty jobs are not good for the youth. Even as youths, we believe that dirty jobs, like someone selling a charcoal, that person can make a lot of money more than even a person going to an office or employed monthly. So, you know, it's a mental problem. In Africa, I'll say, it's a mental problem from us. So it's something that can be talked about in a mental perspective, maybe for the lack of. So I think we can look it in that direction.
Thank you very much. I mean, we need to decolonize the mind, and stop thinking about these manual jobs as being bad. There are solutions going down there. I'll take those two, starting with the lady.
I'm Agnes from Kenya, Kabete National Polytechnic. My friend has almost said what I wanted to say, but this is what I'll add, that I'll say that parents to stop telling their children to choose the courses for their children. Like in my college, there's a certain student who is pursuing in diploma in mechanical engineering, yet the passion of that student is music. So this is what the person told me. He told me that he will just pursue in mechanical just because the parent want that certificate for mechanical engineering. Yeah, then after that, he will go to another college, then pursue in music. And that one is just wastage of resources and time also. So this is my point, that the parents to just inquire from us what we need to do and which course that we have passion in it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You may have passion that as you settle down. You may have passion for something else, but you don't have the ability to realize it. And that's why I think Mr. Benson mentioned much earlier that you were subjected through personality test, so that you see which are the things that you like. Then you are advised towards that. Thank you. Don't take the microphone. Thank you very much. The next person.
Okay, thank you. I'm Mevin Okoth from Kenya.
Hey, what is happening to Kenyans?
Many
of them. Please, no other Kenyans should raise their hand. Let's have other people. Yes.
Yes, I want to answer my brother. I think what you should do is like for instance, you wanted to take a diploma course in electrical engineering, and then you are told you can't do this. You go for plumbing, and you're not interested in plumbing. So my advice is this: so long as the person doesn't have the qualification, then he can begin with at the lowest point. So when he wanted diploma, let's move this person to the certificate in electrical engineering. And then this person will come up a perfect person in electrical engineering, because that is what he or she has in mind. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Because of the time, I will now move this side and allow the panelists, if you have any response to the questions asked, we can start from Kahindi, coming towards this end so that we end with Mr. Benson.
Okay, thank you. I want to start by saying that we appreciate the TVET program for what they are doing for us. Actually, TVET students are not failures. We get good grades in high school level, but we came for the grades because they're more competence. Now that we are moving to competent-based curriculum as Africa, especially Kenya, then TVET institutions becoming the place to be. Another thing is about the choice, of course. Actually, my friends were talking about, want to do this, but somebody telling me is selecting for you because of your performance and all that. My friend, I want to tell you this, medicine is medicine. If you fail in biology in Form 4, even if you start at the lowest level, you cannot make it. Let us not deceive each other here. You cannot make it. Biology is biology, and you're still going to meet it there. If you failed in physics, my friend, don't talk about mechanical engineering if you don't. Do what you can, and that is what we need in African countries, because I want to believe you may fail in mathematics and perform in CRE. We have those who normally fail in physics and get an A in chemistry. Do something concerning what you are performing very well than the other thing. Other than I want to do mechanical engineering, yet you have a D in physics. What are you telling us? You will not make it. No matter what you say, even you start at the lowest level, certificate level, go to diploma level, still you cannot make it. So this is the time whereby you choose the best career according to your passion and the market. As you choose a career according to your passion, please also reflect on the job market. What does the job market requires right now? If agriculture is the backup of the country and everybody's speaking about agriculture, please do something that is marketable. And we have very awkward causes in some of the African countries. And I want to I'm not saying they're not good, but actually it's also good to think wise when you're choosing your causes. For example, somebody is pursuing a bachelor's degree in waste management. We have another course by the name General Agriculture. Waste management is a unit. So if any organization wants to employ you and the organization is having the waste management panel and also some agricultural activities inside, the person with general agriculture has very high chances of getting the employment than you, because you as only waste management, but somebody can do one or two things in the faculty. I can do waste management and I can solve the problem of crop production, because I did both of them.
Thank you
so
very
let
much,
us do something good.
Kaindi, thank you very much. I want to just smoothen the rough edge. There's language you have used that is very strong. Yeah, it's very strong. I think what we should be saying is that allow people to pursue things in which they have ability, isn't it? They have ability to pursue, yeah? You know, sometimes it's very difficult. I got an A in physics, but I ran out of that class when I went for A-levels because people were too serious there. So I ended up in literature. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
1 minute, 1 minute each.
I'll be concluding as well as also answering a lady from South Africa who have imposed the question on me. Even
he
also
posed a question that you would want to respond to,
yes, I wanted to respond.
Yes.
Okay. Also, giving remark to those who have coming here to presenting their countries, I also give them an advice so that they can even also try it in their countries. So the problem we have can be solved. And how can it be solved? As I have told you, in our school we have a career office that supports us. So if we get that office as a clinic or a hospital, and we as students or people who need to be guided in our careers, we take that situation as a disease. So that career support office is a hospital. So governments need to set those hospitals in countrywide as they do it in other ways to treat those diseases, and that will end up solving those problems that we have of poor careers that we choose. So that will help us in those ways to overcome such a problems that we have. Then we become healthy people in the form of career. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That's good.
Okay, thank you very much. What I want to add on is if your passion is doing engineering, you must be committed in doing mathematical things. You can't just say your passion is engineering and yet you know nothing about mathematics. You must be committed in what you are doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We move on.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to address the question of Mr. Trevor a little bit about where the institutions force us to do a certain course. Assuming I have applied for a civil engineering course and then they see that my grades are not that good and they give me the second option of going to maybe construction management. I think that the solution for that could only be that the student should not go for a course that they did not apply for. If you did not get an opportunity to be enrolled in a certain program, try again the following year, or rather go and upgrade, because if you do love that course, you will go back and upgrade. Lastly, I would like to say I am the victim of uninformed career choice. I once chose a wrong career path in my life, and then I failed. I lost so much time, but now I believe I'm in the right career path. So career guidance is the key, and it should be well facilitated in all African countries. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Benson, before you speak, could you just come? He has a word to say.
Thank you. My name is Daniel Karimera, and I'm from Rwanda. So he said he made a suggestion, and also I have a suggestion, because we're here as a youth and we're African. So there's someone who said the problem is mental. So and also I want to say, as African, don't think also Africa is only the problems. So we need also to have the word Africa we can. So for the new generation, and I think all these people you see, white people, they see they are doing anything because they have motivation from their grandparents. So you can see the Facebook like 18th centuries and 19th, because they have the motivation. Also, we need to think we come out with the word Africa we can, so to motivate the new generation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's great. Yes.
Thank you. Much have been addressed, but there is a question that I want to pose to us as we're seeking solutions to these challenges. Whose responsibility is for guiding you or youth? Is it your parent? Is it the teachers? Is it the pastor? Is it the imam? Whose responsibility is it? Question number one. Question number two, when you say, I want to do this because I'm passionate, do you have the capacity and capability to do it? And now that's where reconciliation comes with career guidance. Because at some point, youth, we are so misguided and misinformed. We want to do something because Prof has succeeded in it. You think because my brother is a lawyer, then I can become a lawyer. Because my uncle is an engineer, I want to be an engineer. But when you look at the metrics of capability within you, they do not match. And at that point is where the parents come in, not to impose what you should do, but to advise you. Because career guidance, we do it majorly on transition points, from primary to secondary, from secondary to university or college. That's when you find it. But it should not be done that way. It should be a progressive activity or a progressive thing. Like when you are young, your parent is involved, the community is involved. They see where your interest and passion is, and they can guide you. We have so many misguided talents. They have been wasted. They are very good in engineering, but nobody guided them in the process. And therefore, the aspect of career guidance and counseling is not a one-stop thing. It's not a one-day activity. It should be continuous. Parents have the responsibility. It's so hard because my parent wanted me to become a pastor and maybe forced me to become a pastor. But that's not my calling. That's not where my vocation is. Secondly, I just want to address something, allow me a minute. I just want to address something on monopoly. Somebody said, if whatever we are doing is packaged well, we'll have interest in it. Why do I choose the career that I do? It's because I develop interest out of the appearance, how it was packaged. If you package engineering as a hard course, as a student, I will always avoid the hard course. So the way we package our careers, the way we package it as government, as institutions, it's very important in terms when I come to choose it. For example, I went to a university and there was a section in the library where they used to say this is intensive cramming unit for lawyers. Hello? The mentality that was presented that if you have to do law, you have to cram the whole day, read books and whatever. The presentation will make me walk away from it. A young person will walk away from that career, not because he is not capable, but because of the way it is presented. And therefore, it's the responsibility of the institutions equally to present the career pathways well. And finally, Mr. Moderator, career guidance and counseling boils down to mentorship. Let's not lie one another. It's about mentorship. How well have you been mentored? If you have that person you call a role model, what role does the role model play in your life progressively? So career guidance and whatever, we have mechanically taken it like, going to clinic and getting medication. No, it boils down to mentorship. And what are the responsibilities of mentors? At what level should we introduce mentorship to our learners or to the youth? I supposedly say from the lowest grade, a child should be mentored. Through the mentorship program, a child will realize their potential, capability, and interest will come out of it. There are some things we are born with, and there are some things we acquire along the way. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. People, we ate lunch. And we have given you a lot of knowledge here. And you give us such a feeble... Yeah, that's better. That's better now. All right, we want to thank Kahindi, Mugabo, Atieno, Mr. David from the kingdom. There are very few kingdoms in the world now. We are the kingdom of Lesotho. And then, of course, our main presenter, Mr. Benson Masharia. And I just want to say, even as we are rising up, and we can take a group photo for those of us who are here, clap for us as I walk down. Thank you very much.
As I hope my small announcement won't disrupt the photos, but I want us to proceed. We're supposed to have a small break, but I wanted us to take the next session such that we can have enough time to rest after this, other than going out and then coming back. We'll lose much more time. So let me invite the next moderator to come and guide us in the next session, please.
Good evening once again. Come on, what happened? I say good evening, everyone. Good evening. How comes that one person just is okay, let me stop using the microphone. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you very much. Dear principals, ladies and gentlemen, good evening once again. My name is Olivier Iradukunda, and I'm going to be the moderator of this session with the topic which states intercultural understanding and life skills. Before giving a small introduction about the topic that we're going to be talking about, let me introduce myself a little bit. I'm a student at IPRC Kigali. I'm graduating this year. So feel free to interact with us because I'm also a youth. I'm not a dinosaur, as has been said earlier. So I think that's enough. About the motion that we're going to be talking about, intercultural understanding and life skills. When we talk about interculture understanding, there's culture inside there. And when we talk about culture, it goes hand in hand with identity. Your identity, my identity, that's our culture. So we're going to be talking about the diversity of different cultures that we possess because we are from different nationalities. And it also means that we have also different cultures. But at the end of the day, remember, we're all Africans. And after that, we also talk about life skills. You may ask yourself what life skill is. Life skills are those skills that are really needed for us to be equipped with in order to survive on the labor world out there, including communication skills, decision-making skills, and so forth. So in this session, we're going to be having panelists that are going to help us to understand more about this topic. And we believe at the end of this topic, we'll be able to have talked about the perception of TVET in Africa. And also we see how TVET is contributing to the social and economic development in Africa, of African nations. We also see where we need emphasis on gender sensitivity of TVET curricula and inclusiveness. And last but not the least, we also have been to talk about the life skills as integral part of TVET curricula to embrace culture diversity. Throughout the panel, we have the lead speaker. I'm going to invite him on the stage, but before inviting him, allow me to first call upon the panelists so they can join me here on the stage. The first panel member that I'm going to call she's Brenda Owini from the Technical University at Kenya. Please, a round of applause as she's coming on the stage. You're welcome, Winnie. The next person on the panel, she's also a lady. Tonight is like my session is ladies' session. You have more ladies on the panel. She's Koumba Maganga Kumli from Republic of Congo. Please clap for her. She's youth, educative girl empowering in leadership and social media specialist. I think she deserves also another big round of applause as she's coming. We also have Pacifique Uwineza. She's a student from Rwanda Polytechnic, IPRC Kigali. She has been also a student leader in Guild Council. Let's also give a round of applause to her as she's joining me on the stage. We also have Vareli Akoth Odongo from Kisumu National Polytechnic, Kenya. Is she around? Okay, I've been told that she's not around, but our panelists here are going to also make it. So, as I told you, now it's the time to invite the lead speaker for him to give the presentation or a clear understanding about the topic that we're going to be talking about. Our lead speaker tonight is a father, Dr. Fabien Hagenimana. He's a vice chancellor at Inesi Ruhengeri. He has a long experience in education and has been in different countries where he spent more than 2 years, like in Congo, Zambia, and Italy. And I believe this qualifies him to be a right person to be talking about this theme of interculture, understanding, and life skills as someone who has been to different countries. So allow me to welcome here on the stage as he's going to give us the presentation of this topic with a very big warm round of applause. Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening. I hear there is a culture here of not responding to greetings. Good evening. Yeah, just to add on, I also stayed in Germany, and yesterday I came from China, so I tried to move around to create a network. Before I start, I want to thank the organizers for the invitation to be with you. I was with you before, I'm with you now. Even after, I will still be with you fully. The world is becoming a village. It has become a village. We are all citizens of the world. But if I try to paraphrase George Orwell in Animal Farm, all citizens are equal, but some are more equal than others. Some citizens are enjoying the benefits of the village, while others are just looking through the windows because of the barriers, including, among others, cultural barriers and life skills barriers. So, as the moderator said it, we're going to talk about intercultural understanding and life skills. I'll just break the ice for the panelists to dive and widen the points. Talking about intercultural understanding and life skills brings to mind the need to reflect on the key concepts that will allow us to understand what we are going to discuss during this session. I was supposed to make a presentation, but as I have just said, it's only in the evening that I came back, and I was even tired. So cultural understanding will also require personal understanding. So when we talk about intercultural understanding, we mean the understanding among different cultures. This, of course, invites us to understand some concepts such as culture, identity, intercultural encounter, and lastly, intercultural understanding. Culture. When you talk about culture, many think about dancing, others think about dressing, but I think it doesn't end there. Culture is very difficult to define, just as it is difficult to define a society. Indeed, you find that what you call a society is not such homogeneous group. You find inside one society many more social groups at different layers. What is true for society is also true for culture, because culture refers to the society. As a matter of example, when we are in different continents, they say African culture. We are all proud. There are even people who are saying, I met your connational. Who? He was a Senegalese. But Senegal and Rwanda, there is a long distance. So can you speak African? How do we speak African? African does not exist. Some think African is a language because they think Africa is even a country. So anyway, African culture, you find it's made of different cultures. Even at the level of the country, you find there are different cultures. At the level of the region, even at the level of a community, you find different cultures at different layers. So, culture is not easy to define, just as society is not easy to define. You may find culture based on geography, because this is in this south, north, west, east. You may base on history. You may base on administration. You may base on generations. You may base on lifestyle. Different cultures come about. Again, efforts to define culture should consider that no culture is static. Cultures are dynamic. They keep changing. They keep evolving. But their change, evolution, those are different from alteration. It's like a child is born, grows up, becomes adult and old, but is still the same person. Cultures also are dynamic. They are not altered. So the dynamism also is to be considered. Yeah. Culture includes, but not limited to distinctive features that constitute the heritage and life of given society, such as art, customs, language, ideas, and values. Culture plays an important role in the social cohesion and identity and development of the society, once well understood. Then we talk about identity. It can be understood at personal, interpersonal, even social level. At personal level, it denotes a person's sense of who they are and the self-description to which they attribute significance and value. Hence, some can identify themselves as caring, tolerant, extroverted, etc. At interpersonal relationships and roles, one can be identified as mother, father, a friend, a parent, a colleague. Social identities are instead based on memberships of social groups, a nation, an ethnic group, a religious group, a gender group, an age or generational group, an occupational group, an educational institution, a hobby club, a sports team. There you have at the social level. Identity is key for any interaction. Hence, there will be no intercultural understanding without cultural identity. When it comes to intercultural, it refers to an encounter with another person or group of people who is perceived to have different cultural affiliation from oneself. Such encounters may take place either face-to-face or virtually through, now that we are in the .com generation, through social media. They may involve people from different countries, people from different regions, linguistic, ethnic, or religious background, or people who differ from each other because of their lifestyle, gender, social class, sexual orientation, age or generation, level of religious observance, etc. The call for intercultural understanding is imperative because of the protective aspect of one's culture. People feel better protected in their own culture. And sometimes the pride for one's culture may bring in extremism, positions of rejection or negation of the difference in terms of culture. Intercultural understanding is rooted in the very understanding of interpersonal understanding. The difference in culture is just like the difference among people. To note that I am, but you too are, and you are worthy. My culture is or exists, yours too is a culture and is a worthy culture. That point is not obvious. As we accept our uniqueness, in the same way we can accept the uniqueness of different cultures and so avoid to rush for judging others before we have understood them. When I judge, I stand where I am and I nominate everything. I forget that I'm also nominated by others. That's the problem. I think I am a star, and sometimes I think I am the star to give light to others. That a temptation comes also to cultures, where we think our culture is the best, yet even other cultures are saying the same. Like it happens when Burundians, Ugandans, and Rwandans are talking about the origin of River Nile. They all say it comes from their country. They never ask the river where it comes from. So what appears sometimes ridiculous is to judge others from my own point of view and never consider their own point of view. Sometimes what we think it's nonsense, it bears a lot of sense for others. What we think it doesn't help is rather helpful for others. When I went to Zambia, I stayed there for 5 years, I was shocked to find that people are eating nsima with bare hands. Then I said, a country which is so civilized, it has no forks, no knives. So I started thinking there was something wrong with the Zambians. But what I realized, with my forks and knives, I was eating a very small portion of nsima. Nsima is porridge, maize porridge. While with hands, they are eating a mountain. So I said, what's wrong? Is it that it becomes sweeter with their hands and bitter with the fork and knives? And I started learning. I realized that you cannot enjoy the nsima-ness of nsima if you keep using forks and knives. Now I enjoy it. And the same is there in Zambia and here in the room. Nobody. They say that a boy who never goes around thinks the mother is the only one who knows how to prepare this porridge. So I now learned how to eat nsima after accepting to go beyond the barrier. So intercultural understanding is the only way to discover the other, and once we discover the other, you enrich each other. And if you want to grow, receive the other. If you want to shrink, reject the other. As for life skills, it was already mentioned, it's not a big issue to talk about it, but it's a big issue to acquire it. By life skill, we understand the abilities for adaptive and positive behavior that enable humans to deal effectively with the demands and challenges of life. These are the skills that function for well-being and aid individuals to develop into active and productive members of their communities. The list of life skills is without limit because of different factors, including cultural ones. But according to UNICEF and World Health Organization, 1999, life skills include, but not limited, to the following: decision making, to be able to make a decision. Decision making, that's one, it's listed first. Problem solving, that's clear. Creative thinking, critical thinking, communication and interpersonal skills, self-awareness and empathy, that ability to share the feelings of others. Assertiveness and equanimity, that confidence, forceful personality. Resilience and coping with emotions and coping with stress. This is the list which was given, but it can be longer and longer based on the challenges that each and everyone has encountered. Life skills come from the education at all levels. These skills come from the education at all levels. Education is not family education. It is not school education only. It's also family education. It's religious education. It comes from any other layer of education. So it comes from anywhere. But the school has more responsibility, of course. But the school of home is the number one. The question is to know if our education partners are aware that they don't need to spoon feed the students with sciences and forget life skills. Many of those who are failing is because of lack of life skills, not necessarily because of lack of abilities in mathematics or physics. Back to intercultural understanding and life skills, we can all agree that these elements complement each other and are needed for the globalizing world. Those who think too narrowly rely on what they have learned in class will not delay to see that they are not prepared to cope with the ever-changing world with new demands and new horizons. So thank you for the efforts to develop holistically and together as Africans. Thank you.
I think the better explanation given by the father does not deserve like the clap you give. Please, let's do it more. Well, thank you. I think now everyone in the house has a clear picture of what intercultural understanding and life skill really is. Isn't so? It is. But don't worry, if you still have some hesitation or something that you do not understand, the panelists are here for you. I've noted down some of the key things said by the father throughout his presentation. He said that intercultural understanding it goes hand in hand with interpersonal understanding. Like the way you understand, he used a concept that I am, but you too are worthy, if you remember that. He said that. So I have a question that I want to address to one of our panelists here from Republic of Congo. For your information, when we talk about culture, we also talk about language. She's from Congo and she speaks French. So you allow me to ask the question in French, and as we have seen that there are some people in the house who can understand really well the French, they will help us after her speech to try to translate briefly what she has been saying in French. For your information, this lady, she's from Congo. Her name is Koumba Maganga Komli. She has been in an organizing team of a festival in Congo. So my question will be asking her, because she has been hosting different artists from different countries and different cultures. So my question will be to ask her the challenge she made while interacting with those artists, of course, culture challenge, and what she has been doing in order to overcome those challenges, and the lesson she got from that. So, Kaumba, quelle expérience personnelle tirais-tu dans la compréhension interculturelle à propos de ce festival que vous avez organisé, Et quelles leçons tirais-tu de tes échecs? Aussi, il y a des bonnes choses que vous avez dans ce festival. Et que faut-il faire pour y remédier?
Merci, bonjour. Je suis Kumba Magonga Kumeli, je viens du Congo-Brazzaville. Comme a su le dire le modérateur, je fais partie d'un festival d'humour, si vous voulez, du stand-up. Ça se passe tous les ans, c'est à partir du mois d'octobre. Et chaque année, nous recevons des artistes venant de 4 coins du monde. Et parmi ces artistes, il y a ceux qui ne parlent pas français, ni anglais, et d'autres parlent dans leur langue maternelle. Mais en étant avec eux, j'ai appris à accepter nos différences de culture. En allant vers eux, j'ai ouvert mon esprit. Je les ai accueillis tels qu'ils sont. J'ai brisé les mythes, comme on dit. Pour d'autres, comme je ne connais pas la langue, je ne peux pas les aborder. Mais avec le temps et avec les expériences de la vie quotidienne, j'ai brisé le mythe en allant vers eux, en partageant avec eux ce que je connais de mon pays et eux ce qu'ils connaissent de leur pays avec moi. Et comme l'a su le dire le modérateur, ce festival est un festival qui réunit, je peux dire, toutes les cultures, que ce soit la religion, la couleur de peau, il n'y a pas de différence. Je les traite comme je traite mes amis congolais ou mes parents congolais. Avec eux, je me sens mieux, je suis à l'aise. Et je dirais que pour moi, disons que c'est une bonne expérience. Parce qu'avant, je me disais que peu importe que je ne parle pas anglais, ou que je ne sois pas blanche, ou peu importe ma couleur de peau, ma religion, j'étais stagnée sur moi-même. Mais avec le temps, j'ai compris qu'il fallait briser ce mythe en allant vers les autres, en les comprenant, en les acceptant tels qu'ils sont. Et c'est ainsi que nous pouvons aller de l'avant. Et dans le passé, c'est vrai qu'il y a eu des échecs. Et après, on finit toujours par se relever et tout. J'ai perdu beaucoup d'emplois comme ça parce que je me disais que je ne peux pas aller, par exemple, au Rwanda ou au Burundi parce que je ne sais pas parler leur langue, que ce soit l'anglais ou leur langue maternelle. Mais avec le temps et au fil des expériences vécues, j'ai compris qu'il fallait briser ces mythes. Et pour y remédier, j'ai appris à accepter les autres tels qu'ils sont. Je les comprends par rapport à leurs différences de culture, de religion, de couleur de peau et autres. Et pour ce faire, ce que je peux dire en un mot, qu'il faut accepter l'autre tel qu'il est. Nous, jeunes, nous devons briser ce mythe en allant vers les autres. En Afrique, il y a beaucoup de cultures. Ça veut dire qu'il y a beaucoup de richesses. En fait, dans chaque culture, il y a une diversité de richesses. Si nous pouvons prendre cette richesse, la mettre de l'avant, nous verrons que l'Afrique va aller de l'avant. Et en tant que jeunes, c'est ce combat, ce défi que je cesse de relever tout le temps. Nous devons nous mettre à l'avant parce que c'est grâce à nous, jeunes, que l'Afrique pourra se mettre au même pied que l'Europe ou les États-Unis. Donc, en tant que jeunes, nous devons briser le mythe interculturel. Nous devons comprendre les autres, les traiter comme nous traitons nos parents chez nous dans nos pays. Merci.
Merci beaucoup. Even though you might have not understood what she had been saying, I think she deserves more. Please clap for her. Well, I've understood what she has been saying, but I'm afraid that my skill in French cannot translate what she has been saying, like all of them. But I think we have some people in the house who can help us to understand more what she has been saying. I think, Father, can you help us, please? Pass the microphone to him shortly.
She was talking about her experience of the festival, which was organized annually, and people from different corners of the world come. At the beginning, she was afraid to communicate with them, but with time, she tried and she made it. She overcame her fear, and she got great benefits. And she said also that when because of her barrier of language, she was afraid maybe she could not go maybe to Burundi because she cannot speak their language, or to Rwanda because she cannot speak our language. But she has overcome her fear, and now she's getting more benefits. And she says, if we overcome this linguistic barrier and other cultural barriers, not necessarily by learning, but by knowing that the difference is richness, we will become greater Africans.
Thank you very much, Father. Yeah, you can clap, okay. Throughout the challenges that my sister from Congo, she met, there's language barrier. And we have been seeing, like, throughout the presentation of Father, he talked about life skills as one of the life skills is communication skills. And the tools for communication skills, one of the tools is language. So I'm addressing the next question to Pacific. We are talking about TVET, and we are talking about also economic development of Africa. But my question to you is, do you think these life skills, do they have a major role, or is there any importance of these soft skills or these life skills towards TVET? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Pacific, and I'm from IPRC Kigali in civil engineering. The thing that I would like to say first, what is life skills really? Life skills is the ability and the behaviors that one needs in order to help to effectively deal with the events and challenges that we meet every day. And as mentioned from the father, there are several skills that we really need, such as self-awareness. In fact, I will just tack on it as in saying about a short story of mine. When I was going to start about this construction from the secondary, my parents didn't allow me to do so. But the thing is like this, as youth, when we normally say that it is a modern thing or it's a modern education that we normally need nowadays, really, how do we convince our parents that it is needed? And when you say that it is a modern education nowadays on the market in order to get the employment, really, how do you try? How do you see yourself in that? How are you passionate at? It wasn't very easy for me when I was trying to convince my parents, because they are aged than me, but trying to convince them that I'm passionate at it. They tried to tell me that some cultural diversity, like as they have saying, the ability and whatever, they used to tell me that there is no any girl who goes on scaffolding. Scaffolding in construction, it means going up to the house and whatever. They used to tell me that you're gonna fall, you're gonna do this. But really, when they told me so, I said also the boys also falls. When I fall, it will be an accident too. But trying to convince them and trying to tell them that I'm passionate at it because I wanted to be an engineer. And so far, I'm very sure that I'm going to tackle my destiny right now. But the thing is like this. When even you are saying that really the TVET is needed, are you passionate at that? When also you say about these life skills they are asking me on and saying that on the importance, life skills are really needed. How are they needed? Life skills, the reason why they are needed, when also we need to have this economic development in Africa, we need to be self-employed. We need to have our own companies in order to employ others, to get the economic development, to get people who are developed and people who are so far employed. So we need also to have this decision making, as mentioned below. In order to be a good entrepreneur and a good educator in TVET, you need to be also a decision maker for yourself. We need also to be self-awareness and self-confidence. As mentioned in the first session, there is being a leader, but also being a leader, it matches with the life skills. You need also to have this decision-making and self-confidence. So far, I can conclude about this by saying that the life skills, it's needed in the TVET education in order to have the economic development in Africa. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much. I can say that's a critical thinking. Convincing your parents that something you're passionate about is really so useful and important. They are parents, they need respect. But throughout that respect, you also need to be able to convey your ideas to them so that they understand what they are telling you, the advice they are giving you. Talking about that, it also triggered my mind to come back to the cultural question. She said things about beliefs that ladies cannot climb to those scaffolding. But that's not the only stereotypes or belief that is out there towards TVET. There are some other beliefs in most of countries, parents, students, that this TVET education, it's for the school drops out. Or it's for those students who have got, maybe it has also been mentioned by the gentleman here in front, by those students who have scored on the lower in classrooms. Brenda, according to your experience in Kenya, how is this issue of perception of TVET in your country, how is it perceived? Is it really have a good perception there? Or if not, what can be done to improve this strong perception that is out there throughout people, parents, and everyone there?
So thank you very much. My name is Brenda Owini from Kenya, Technical University of Kenya. The perception about TVETs cuts across Africa. And it is something that is very disheartening because, number one, if you look at the percentage of students who graduate from high school to go to the universities, it is almost 3%. The larger percentage is left outside there. Yeah, and even the 3% that graduate to the universities do not secure jobs by the end of their training sessions. So where does the other 70% of students or the youth go? They stay there in the homes. And it is very disheartening that the TVET, the courses that are offered in the TVETs are on high demand in the market, but there is no skills outside there. This is because of stereotyping. One thing that Kenya is doing right now is incorporating the TVETs and the polytechnics and taking in students and the youth generally through this training process. You find that even in the construction industry, before you even come down to the engineer, you will need a plumber. You will need somebody to do the wiring in each and every construction. But you find that these job opportunities, they are there, but we don't have the right skills to do them. So I think one thing that we need to do as Africa is to change the stereotype, first of all, because that is what the market needs, yeah? The dirty jobs. Somebody called them the dirty jobs. That is what is selling. That is what is putting food on the table. That is my comment on that.
But how? Do you say to change stereotypes, but is there any mechanism that you can use maybe towards that, according to you?
I think generally it's just changing of a perception does not need any mechanism. It just needs marketing of the courses and also the repackaging, as the former speaker had said. Yeah, you find that the way they package the courses that are offered at the TVETs make it look dirty. Yeah, it is not maybe classy for me to say that I'm a plumber. It is not classy for me to say that I can do wiring, I can mix cement. The packaging generally is what makes something attractive. So you find that these courses, the technical, the hands-on courses have been mispackaged. That is why we have a lot of youths retrieving from them. Yeah.
Thank you. Let's clap for her too. When you talk also about culture, there's also an issue of gender equality throughout TVET. So I'm going to ask the father to also to share with us. In Rwanda, we are in a good way of gender equality. I can say that we are far better from other countries, because for your information, Rwanda is the first country that has the most number of women in parliament. So that's a good thing, and I think other countries also can learn from that. But what is the present scenario? You are a vice chancellor of a technical university. So what is the current scenario of gender equality and social inclusiveness in TVET schools?
The way is still long. The way is still long. I think at the speech level we have reached very far. We have been faster But the facts, we are not still convincing. When I look at students in civil engineering, 80% are boys, 20% are girls. When I go into land surveying, 85% are boys, 15 are girls. But then when I go to accounting, 80% are girls, 20% are boys. When I go to health-related, like biomedical, 70% are girls, 30% are boys. I have never seen a balanced trade or program. I see some choosing stereotypes. We are still slaves of the stereotypes. I think also in TVET in general in Rwanda, when they try to give the percentages, the numbers are raised by those doing accounting. But when you go to hard stuff, you find that girls are running away. Maybe you find them in tourism, find them in culinary arts and whatever. But when you go to some programs that are called hard, you may not find them. So the barriers are still there. They are cultural. They are not real. As one girl said, I think she was saying it maybe in French, the barriers are not justified because every year we give awards to the best students. And maybe if we are giving 15 awards, we always have a bigger number of girls. Their number is bigger than the number of the boys. Yet we have more hard sciences. Then the boys says, you know, Father, girls are not distracted, but they distract us. That's the only reason they give. But just to prove that, girls are able, and they should really find ways through women's organizations, through women students' organizations. They should find ways of convincing others who may be running away from their vocations, from their careers, because they are girls, and go to softer skills when they could even do hard skills. So it's up to each and everyone to work on it.
Thank you very much, Father. And I've been told that the time is not on our side, and I think this topic of culture things and life skills is really something big and diverse. And that's why I don't want to be biased on the panelists, because as we are remaining with a few minutes, I would like to open up the floor to the audience. I know you have some burning questions that you want to address to the panel so that we can, exhaust our time, like as we have given you time to also ask some questions. So I'm going to, I don't know if there is a microphone down there or I pass this one. Okay. You can use this for the audience. Now we are going to accept the question from the audience, and let's start by that side. You introduce yourself and then your question, and if it is addressed to a specific person, it's better to say it, or if it's to everyone, it's also good. Thank you.
Thank you so much, moderator. I'm Dr. Alex Ruberwa, the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Rwanda Polytechnic, in charge of finance and administration. Good afternoon. I would like to look at culture, at intercultural understanding and life skills in the spectrum of TVET and business. Because after all, we are learning TVET to be creative, to produce products that will change the lives of our environment, of our people, and ourselves, the producers. Culture is so good in terms of business. When it comes to cultural tourism, there is a notion of culture. We can do marketing
using culture. We can do culture selling and competitiveness based on culture. For example, it has now become a culture that when the most competitive society is the most developing society. All of us here, we are here studying, all these youth are students of TVET. And we have had many civil engineers outside there. We have had agriculturists. We have had very many skills that you have produced as graduates. But we still have problems. Whenever we want to construct quality roads, we look for China. We look for Chinese. I want us to look at this if we want to develop our nations. You look, we are producing massively every year, every successive year we are producing graduates of TVET. But our TVET graduates are not that perfect to make good roads, to construct very good buildings like these ones that are where we are seated. So we need a paradigm shift. We need to think around what's going on wrong. Second, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking of survival skills, life skills. I don't think I'm wrong if I say survival skills.
You're not wrong.
Because these life skills teach us how to adapt with other cultures, other societies. But if I meet a Kenyan, I meet a Chinese, we are not going to speak Kiswahili and Chinese languages only. But I should find from that Chinese, what should I sell to him? What should I sell to the Kenyans? We should, all the countries, now China has come up because of business. And if we are thinking of TVET, we should think it in entrepreneurial kind of thinking. We should change the stereotype. If you are studying civil engineering, what innovation are you bringing in that field? Are you like the same civil engineer that was trained in the 70s? He was trained, he came out, and still we are getting Chinese, we are getting other people to come and construct big buildings. What are you coming up with? We need to scratch our minds and turn things around such that we develop our nations.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I would like to ask the next person to give the question to, if you know you have more than one question, it's better to ask one which is crucial than others so that others also can get opportunity to ask their questions. And try to be brief and straight to the point.
Bonsoir. Je vais parler français. Moi, c'est Ndia Ilaya. Je viens du Burkina Faso et je suis agro-entrepreneur et jeune juriste de formation. Et pour moi, ce n'est pas une question en tant que telle, mais plutôt un apport. J'aimerais dire que la culture peut être un moyen de développement économique et social de l'Afrique. Parce que quand nous regardons, il faut que les jeunes apprennent à avoir des idées novateurs, aller à la recherche du business. Parce qu'il faut moderniser. Actuellement, on est en train d'abandonner nos cultures. Par exemple, quand nous regardons, nous allons dans les restaurants, nous ne retrouvons pas les plats traditionnels que nous mangeons. Voilà. Et à travers ça, moi, j'ai une idée, parce que je regroupe 3 cultures en moi. J'ai un papa qui est sénégalais, une maman qui est malienne et voilà, une grand-mère qui est burkinabé et je me retrouve au Burkina Faso. Lorsque nous allons dans les cérémonies, il y a certains plats traditionnels qu'on retrouve. Mais pour préparer, c'est tellement difficile que nous, les jeunes, actuellement, nous n'avons même pas le temps pour faire la cuisine. Donc, qu'est-ce qu'il faut faire? Donc, moi, j'ai réfléchi et j'ai dit, pourquoi pas moderniser ces plats-là, faire de la transformation, je ne sais pas, pré-cuire ces repas pour que ça soit plus facile. Tu reviens du job à 16 heures, tu dois faire la cuisine, tu aimes le plat, mais tu n'as même plus le temps pour faire cette cuisine-là. Comment est-ce qu'il faut faire? Lorsque tu mets à la disposition de la société ces genres de plats, ça facilite en fait. Ça fait que les gens n'abandonnent plus leur culture. Ça fait que même ça s'exporte à l'extérieur. Quand nous regardons nos parents qui sont aux États-Unis ou en France, ils ne peuvent pas cuisiner ces choses-là parce que les voisins vont se plaindre. Il y a des odeurs, on ne peut pas supporter, on ne peut pas manger. Mais si toi, tu as déjà facilité ça, en 15 minutes, la personne a son plat. En fait, par cet exemple, je veux juste dire, il faut que nous, les jeunes, nous soyons créatifs. Il faut que nous réfléchissons, que nous modernisons. N'abandonnons pas notre culture. La culture peut être un moyen pour entreprendre. Quand on parle d'entrepreneuriat, on voit plutôt les choses, voilà quoi, les choses qui brillent à l'extérieur. On oublie ce qu'on a chez nous. Ce qu'on a chez nous, c'est un trésor. Et il ne faut pas abandonner ce trésor-là. Voilà. Et les écoles de formation professionnelle, tu peux faire de la formation avec une idée préfixe, quoi. Transformer ce que les gens veulent abandonner pour promouvoir ça, pour moderniser ça pour le futur. Et c'est en cela que j'aimerais intervenir.
Merci. A short intervention for the people who are distributing microphone. Please, this is a youth conference. So as I've been told, let's give the priority to the youth. But it does not mean that we are putting aside the old ones, but let's give priority to the youth. Okay, we can go on.
Okay, good evening. Okay, my name is Joseph Mongai Komu, a student leader at the Kabete National Polytechnic in Kenya. Okay, as a student leader, there's some things that I've tried to observe regarding to TVET. Majority of our students, what they do, based in TVET curriculum, they read to pass the exams, but not to acquire the skills needed, as the VC has stated. So, what can we do in the TVET curriculum to prevent these students not only to study to pass the examinations, but to have to impact themselves with skills as the vision of TVET states? That's why you're finding in the industry, we are having quacks because they have not met the true standard of what they studied for. And that's why you find us sourcing for people from outside our continent to come and take up structural projects because our own students, what they did was to read and pass examinations only. So what can TVET try to do so that we may reduce that and make it possible to impact skills in our students? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I think that's a very good question. The next person. The lady there.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you. I'm Koda Sumtanijena from IPRC Tumba. My point is about culture education. I'm sorry to ask this, but it is I used to ask this question myself. What if we want to say our Africa, we have to be united to work as a team, as one country. But in history, we used to put an effort of teaching students European and the other countries' history instead of teaching African history. My point is this: isn't possible to teach our students, our babies, telling you, my parents here, to teach our students about African history, which will cover our culture. That is my question.
Thank you very much. That's a good question. I think we can just talk about, answer some of the question, and maybe we'll come back for the back sitters after, but let's, in order to make sure that we have tackled each and every question that have been asked. So I'm going to start here. I think there's a question asked by the lady from Burkina Faso concerning about Kirtir. Elle avait dit que Kirtir peut être un moyen de développement. Tu peux dire quelque chose à propos de cette question-là?
En réponse à Ndiaye Laya, la culture peut être un moyen de développement. En un mot, je peux dire que la culture est un moyen de développement. Dans ce qu'elle a dit, elle n'a pas tort. Si seulement nous pouvons créer un mécanisme pour conserver nos mets traditionnels, que l'on se retrouve aux États-Unis, on peut retrouver nos mets dans les supermarchés de la place, que ce soit aux États-Unis, en Europe, en Chine, ce serait une très bonne chose. Mais seulement, pour ça, il faudrait mettre en place un comité ou bien faire un plaidoyer auprès de nos gouvernements pour que cela soit fait et que le suivi soit bien. Et ensuite, il faudrait que nous instaurons ce système dans nos écoles, en fait, que ce programme soit instauré dans les programmes scolaires afin que ceux qui viendront après nous ne puissent pas les oublier et que ça puisse demeurer, disons, pour l'éternité. Voilà.
Merci. And I think we have been asked some 4 questions. I think we can proceed. If you have something to say about the question asked, then you can share.
Okay, I will say about what they have just said about life skills, how it will help in the TVET for the development. Like he has compared, are you going to be the engineer from the 70s? Not of course, because I can't hesitate saying that, because I do, when you accommodate life skills such as the communications, you can't hesitate approaching someone to tell him that I do have this project. How can you help me in this? So I will also emphasize on saying that when we do have, as youth, when we do have these kind of things like examples mentioned below for the life skills like decision making, really we are not going to be scared for making and funding our own companies. That will help you to boost what is inside us, and also it will help you to emphasize in the economic development. And also another thing I will say on that, he has said that some of the countries, they come and they build these nice houses, of course, because we were not aware of what we really want. But nowadays we are studying it because you are passionate at it and you are really going to go to the market in order to compete with others. So that's the reason that I'm saying that if we are doing these TVET educations, you are really passionate at it and you are going to work hard in order to earn more and also to be the competence on the market. So I will say that the life skills is really important. And when you know, he has also said about that, how can you know that a Kenyan needs this and a Chinese needs this and a Ghana needs this? The thing that will make you to know and to be aware of the people what they really want is just communication. And communication is among the life skills that we really need in our daily life. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So thank you once again. I'm going to answer 2 questions. The first question, what can we do so that our students are not examination-oriented, but they have the right skills to meet the industry needs? Number 1 is that I think we as Africa, we should change our curriculum, because my motto at my school, Technical University of Kenya, is education for the real world. That is why we have a system whereby you go to school, learn, afterwards you get attached to an industry whereby you do industrial-based learning, come back to school again, learn, and then go for another attachment whereby now you are able to work with the real engineers in the industries, real architects, real entrepreneurs in the industry, and get the right skills that is needed for the industry. Another thing we need to learn as the youth is to upskill. You learn the skills, you unskill, you reskill, and you upskill. All this is because, number one, we are in the 21st centuries. You cannot use the 19th century solutions to solve 21st century problems. You have to be flexible enough to learn new skills that address new problems. We have problems arising each and every single day, and how you address them is how you will make money out of it. Look at a simple thing such as communication. The CEO of Facebook, he just wanted to communicate. That was a problem. It doesn't have to be a big problem you're solving. But we need to come up with innovative ideas to solve the little problems that we are facing, even in our little environments as just the household. Once you solve that, maybe there is 1 million plus one people of you who are having the same problem. When you turn that innovation into an SME, it becomes business and it makes money. Another question is it possible to teach our students or the young students the African culture? I love what Father has said here. Difference is richness. Our African culture, the heritage, the whites are taking advantage of the deep African culture that us guys are trying to run away from and adopt the Western culture. They are selling the African culture in their continents. You'll find that there are galleries in the US or in other continents, in Europe, that specifically have African culture. And I'll give a little story. Please allow me to. Yeah? I'll give a little story. 1 minute, okay. I'll give a little story. Why is it that we do our weddings with white dresses? It's because we all watched Princess Cinderella. We all read something about Princess Cinderella, a white princess. Can't we just have our own innovative ideas of telling our African tales? Why can't we have animations talking about our kingdoms in Africa? And they will sell there. If we are training people here to do 3D production, sound engineering, those are skills those are things that are coming up recently. It's not about civil engineering. It's not about electrical engineering. We have sound, light. If we are training them here, what are they doing to sell Africa to the continent? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah, you can clap for her.
Thank you. I want to address somehow repetitive. I keep hearing questions. What is happening that people are not joining TVET? Maybe TVET, they say, are droppers or what and what. I think we need to uplift our minds on TVET. But the whole issue is, there is a question that I'm a philosopher. Philosophers have a question that other people don't ask. That's the question, why? Other people keep asking how and who and when and where. But the question, why? Why do I live? Why do I study? If you understand why, and the school owners, school leaders, teachers, students all ask why, we will make it. Many are the students who go to school without the question why. They just follow. Some have been dumped because of the grades, others because it's near their homes, others because the capacities of their families, others because they have been sponsored by so and so. And then they keep studying without knowing why they are moving. I think this is the time to know why. And once you have understood, either we move or just get out. Doesn't make sense to study for a degree. Then after studying, you start saying, there's no job. Why did you study? This is the degree disease. It's a degree disease. It's everywhere. And it's a problem. We need to really change to get out of that degree disease syndrome. Instead of studying for a degree, we study for life. And then we will combine what we are studying and the life skills, because you are preparing for life, not for a degree. So the barrier, I think, it's at different layers. There is already a problem with the school leaders. I'm also a leader. Teachers, I keep telling my students, this teacher has already a job. You should also think of your job, because the teacher has his own job. Whether he gives you water or diluted wine, important is to get paid. So we should find mechanisms of pushing, stressing school owners, including the government, teachers, to make sure they meet our passion. And as they have said, not only the degree disease should really be cured, but also the industry. We don't go there just because we are sent. We should go there with a list of the skills we have to learn, with the right mentors to be coaching us, with the right evaluation to see, is everything okay? So far, what we evaluate he has passed physics, he has passed electrical engineering, has passed this, but the whole thing, the profile, the exit profile that is needed by the industry is out of hand. So let us take up our responsibility. I'm talking as the owner and the leader, but for the youth, take your life in your hands. We keep saying life is what we make it. If you want a mess, you will get it. If you want a sound life, you will get it. But you have to know, why am I here?
Thank you very much. Yeah, this is the time to know why you have joined different subjects that you have joined, but not knowing why we are here. Because I believe that we knew it before we get here, why we'll be here. All right, now the last phase of questions, I think let's take like 2 or 3 questions from the youth especially.
Okay. I'm Mercy from KTTC Nairobi, Kenya. I have a question concerning under the TVET, that you find that in TVET, that is after completing your diploma course, you find that at times a student, that particular student might be given a chance to teach in a certain college. And maybe he or she hasn't undergone the skills for education. So how are we going to go about it? I know Brenda is aware. You come from Kenya, so you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Mkamwiza Yvette from IPRC Ngoma. I'm not asking, but I want to add some information. I want to contribute about the ideas Father said, and my friend Pacific from IPRC Kigali said about the life skills. I want to add this point. We have to know how can make decision. As the Minister of Youth, at morning they said that as youth, we have to say yes as yes, or say no as no. And also Father tell us now, we have to set why. If you know why you are a student or why you are here, it's easy. It helps you to take decision in easy way and collective way. That is my point. Thank you.
Thank you so much. As I said, my name is Rambona David. I'm a student in IPRC Huye. So first of all, I would like to thank every institution for what they have done, and the power they are putting on is very promising. But even though we are moving very far from where we used to be, we still have a lot of challenge. So as you know, in TVET school, there are many innovators and with good ideas. And every final student in a TVET school, they did final year project and with fantastic ideas. So, but after presenting those ideas, after moving out of the school, those ideas became useless because of the lack of implementation. So I would like to ask you, how would you overcome that problem? So thank you.
Good evening. My name is Brian Ngongori from IPRC Tumba, Vice Guild President. I'm very happy to share this idea. It's not a question. I'm happy because we've been talking about culture, and here I think we have more than 5 cultures, or we are from different countries of Africa. And my idea is focusing on culture. First of all, I have to start by saying a word which was said by one of the politicians of South Africa. He's called Marema. He once said, Africans, we were taught to hate ourselves. I have my idea is in a big paragraph, but I'm going to try to make it smaller. The big problem I think we have Africans, we are not supportive. We don't support each other. When we all say about all those leadership and we say about TVT, but we don't rely on saying, on emphasizing on things that we don't help our brothers. For instance, we know China. Chinese have many people, as we know, and they support each other. Those people, their products is their product. They support their products. And we Africans, for example, I've seen one of the girls there, she's wearing a brand name which Levi's. But she's proud of it, because that's the culture we are being getting. And as you know, before colonization, we had our different cultures, but now we have, thank you. And we have what I can call like upgraded culture. That culture is teaching us, we have something that forces us to like more than we like, to like more Western things more than we like our things. So I want to emphasize on this thing. We better like what we better be supportive. Your success be my success. We work as Africa. As we know, sorry for the time, as we know, we Africans, we are all taken as, we are from different countries, but we are all taken as Africans. We are put on in the same basket. We try to separate ourselves, but we need to work together. We need to think that we are Africans. So we work for the same goal. That's my point. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I think among the 4 people who spoke, like 2 were comments and others were questions. The first comment, like the last one, but not the least, was about, working together. You see, supporting each other instead of let's first like what is made in Africa and then after we go abroad. But let's be supportive. All right? And the first question was addressed to Brenda. And I think the next question was about youth who have ideas and like at school, and when they get out of schools, they lack implementation. I think that was the second question. So let's address them shortly, and then we come up to the conclusion. Thank you.
Thank you. graduate assistants, students who graduate and come back to lecture or teach other students without experience. I think I will be addressing the wrong audience right now, because we had vice chancellors, we had chancellors, we had all these administrative people on board, but right now they are not there. Or there's some who are still there, but we can clearly see the larger percentage is gone, right? Yeah? And that is the first problem that leads to a mismatch of skills. You are a graduate assistant. You do not have the industrial experience. You come back to teach me what you were taught that you can easily interfere with. That is one problem that we are facing, and it is very rampant in Kenya. Is there any Kenyan VC here? They are not here. Please pass information. They are not here. But it is one problem that we are facing, and it is something that we need to eradicate. If you are going to come back to teach students, go to the industry, learn the market needs, so that you come and teach what is relevant to me as somebody who's learning, so that I can have the right skills to meet the market industry. Another thing is how to implement ideas. I think for the organizers of this event, and also us as technical universities and TVETs and polytechnics, one thing is that I like what he has highlighted. At every end of year of study for someone, you have a project or an idea that you normally present. After that, where does that idea go? It's because we, the youth ourselves, we've blamed the stakeholders much. But as the youth ourselves, we do not even have pitching skills. We cannot pitch an idea. If I have a panel here, we don't have the skills to pitch an idea, to sell an idea to somebody or an investor so that they can put in money. This comes back to my point that there is need for us to develop abilities to skill, unskill, reskill, and upskill. If we are going to turn innovations into SMEs, because that is the future of work. I am learning right now as an architect student, and I don't want to say I'm going to be employed somewhere. What is it that I have different that I'm going to take to the industry? That is what sells. Thank you very much.
I think she deserves more because she tried to, tackle both questions. Now, thank you very much. I think now, according to time, without too much ado, I would like to ask each panelist to give a conclusion about a theme with a time of 1 minute. On va tirer une conclusion à propos de la thème. Yeah, that's it.
Pour conclure, je dirais que l'Afrique est un continent très riche, non seulement par ses minerais et, disons, le pétrole et autres, mais par nos diverses cultures, notre couleur de peau, notre religion. Et pour ça, nous jeunes, notre défi, c'est de savoir exploiter cette richesse afin que l'Afrique aille de l'avant. Merci.
Okay, I will conclude by saying that there is a saying which says that youth, we are the strength of the nation or of Africa. So let's boost and let's bring it out, the fire that we have inside us. Because there are some who have become self-employed because they do have the fire that they let them out. So let us boost what is inside us, and let's act as if also we are strong. Really, we are strong. And also we end by saying that don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. Thank you very much.
Skill, unskill, reskill, upskill. Number 1, take note of that. Skill, unskill, reskill, and upskill. take note of that. If you've not understood, I'm very social. You can just look for me outside. That is number one. Number two, for the organizers, for Capa as a family now. Next time, when we have the third Pan-African Youth Forum, ensure that we have all the important stakeholders on board. We'll not be addressing issues affecting us to us. Because we need you people so that we can create solutions. Another thing is evaluation of progress. Between now and the third Pan-African Youth Forum, what would we have done different? And do we have a scaling mechanism to monitor our success as Capa? Thank you.
Thank you very much. One point is for TVET, but also any academic activity to be attractive, we have to link it with bread. Let nobody study for a degree, but for life. And if you win your bread, other people will also follow. But if people are winning degrees without getting their bread, I think we should feel guilty. As the VCs, principals, and others should feel guilty of betraying the young ones. Second, a story of an old man and a grandchild. They used to play, and always the grandfather was winning. One day, the boy went to the bush, brought a bird, and asked the old man, "Tell me, is this bird dead or alive?" And the old man said, "You are clever. It is dead or alive, depending on how you are holding it." The boy was ready. If he says it is dead, I'll let it fly. If he says it is alive, I'll press and kill. That is your life. Please note that no one is there outside cooking for you, that you are going to eat. Mature as early as possible and study with a purpose. You will make it, including the final year projects. If you do it for marks, it will die. If you do it for life, it will survive. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I think this panel deserves more than that. Please, let's clap. I am not going to say too much about what they have been saying, but remember, keep this in mind. You have to start with a purpose, or you have to know why you are in that area that you're in right now. And remember this, if you're doing this for marks, it will die. But if you're doing it for a better vision, it will survive. And one of the recommendations that was given by the panelists is that maybe it would be better if during our discussions as youth, the minister is sitting here, because it seems as if we are addressing issues to ourselves. So I think the organizers of the event will sort this thing out. So I would like to thank each and everyone who contributed to this theme. It was really engaging, and I liked the way you engaged with the panelists. And I also like to thank my panel member. Thank you, Father, for your contribution. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you, Percy, and thank you, Kamali, for all your inputs that you've given to this motion. I don't want to take too much of your time, apart from thanking you for your engagement in this theme. I wish you to have a fruitful meeting ahead as we are proceeding with this meeting. Thank you very much, and I wish you a wonderful stay. Thank you. And as you are clapping for us, we're just also going to stand for a group photo of this panel. Thank you very much.
Sorry about that. I think he deserves a big applause. You saw us fumbling this morning trying to get through the program, and he did it with perfection. The future is great, yeah? So, as the program director, yeah, no, just still, it's fine. As a program director, I would like to actually sort of spend this last few minutes just to thank you very much for tolerating what I tried to do with you, which was unconventional at some point. But that you are the future. If we had a choice, I've got a colleague there from South Africa as well, but if we had a choice, I think there are so many people we want to steal from this, to go and help develop our own country. Real and absolute talent. And of course, that says a lot about your leaders, the people that have been teaching you. But the journey from here onwards is going to be different. This morning, you didn't have the energy, okay? It was not your fault. It was because the majority of you didn't know what was happening today, okay? But those suggestions, Brenda and others, I think Capa is going to take them seriously. And I think the planning for the next youth forum should involve a delegation from yourselves so that you can have your own input, okay? And another thing, I don't want us to leave you with a wrong impression that Pan-Africanism means you should be enclosed and talk to yourself without talking to other people, okay? The weakness, the biggest weakness of Africa is collaboration and partnership. We are full of self-hate and jealousy, okay? We can't work together. We can't work across each other. The institutions that are here, I won't be surprised when the institutions themselves even don't know each other. The lecturers here don't know lecturers in other places. What is all that? So going forward, it's going to be different. And I'm going to take another risk now and actually sort of invite Andy. Andy, do you want to come over here? Come. Now, we in Africa, Father, they kept saying Father, we are dynamic today because we have traveled a lot. We have exchanged ideas with quite a number of people in different countries, okay? That's why Father was sounding the way he's sounding. Our biggest change going forward, and you must go and tell your institutions as well, you need to get an opportunity for student exchanges. You need to actually move across and spend maybe a week in Ghana, in Swaziland, in Botswana, in South Africa, and come back and report about your findings and the benchmarking. Because sometimes you feel so proud, you feel you have achieved a lot, but the only thing that you know is your own country and where you are. So going forward, we need to see you as dynamic. The next 5 years, I hope we have an opportunity to say, where are those guys that we said were young? And the dynamism will come from there. So Andy, you're from China. What makes you so dynamic and makes you to come and build roads for us when we are here ourselves? Just try to say your strengths and whatever.
Good evening. It's my great pleasure come to Rwanda. Also, it's the first time. 3 days ago, I meet the father in China. So I am very happy we meet again in Rwanda. Yeah. For me, I'm interested for the TVET, vocational technical training. So all the students today you mentioned, yeah, I also learn. Yeah, depend on the major. But I trust one. In Africa, they have the older saying. They call, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Thank you. Also, the Barry mentioned, I also want we work together for China Vocational College with Africa Vocational College. We find some projects we want to do the education industry exchange. That is my point. Thank you very much.
Sorry, Andy, how old are you?
You can guess. 35.
32?
35.
I just want you to show them. 35.
Yeah, I'm 35 now.
Now he's 35, okay? The reason why I'm asking this is because, Fred, in South Africa, we were holding a conference and the representative, with all adults there, but the representative from the United Kingdom, from the UK, was a 26-year-old. And with us, we say you are not ready yet. When are you going to be ready? So I think going forward, we need, for Africa to really advance, we need to use these young minds and young brains. Doctor, you have produced them. Let's take a risk. Yeah? They must go and represent their countries on education, on vocational education and training, make mistakes there, come back, give them feedback, and then we then are grooming leaders of tomorrow. Yeah? So I don't have to stay there until I'm 70, and then all the time, you know, looking up to me, and you don't have an opportunity. So we need to try that going forward, and that is the way to go. Freddie would like to stand up there, and whatever is on. I'm saying Freddie, I'm putting him on the spot, and Trevor. They're from South Africa. They were able to fund 3 young African students, yeah, to come and talk at that event. We are not promising anything, but I think some of this talent would like to see it on the platforms in South Africa. And it can be done. Yeah? So I think by way of encouragement, I mean, there's Andy, he's 35 now. I've seen him writing quite a lot. We have not been writing anything. And that is why our history is written by other people and is told by other people. Yeah? So with him, all the notes here, whatever and so on, a big project is going to come out. I network. I run a small outfit. What I've done in the last 5 minutes today, I am going to form partnership with him, my company with his company, and I can tell you, I'll be in China, and I'll be in those vocational education and training colleges, and I'll be making business. But it is reciprocal. I'm going to create opportunities for him too. But that's the way of the future. Because you guys are young and you're going to be mobile. That degree, for example, I just want to tell you again about what we did. I mentioned earlier on, we have developed a concept paper on the skills passport. We are going to share it with Capa, but the whole idea is to actually have you mobile from different countries. That's how we're going to grow. But at the moment, all of you are inward looking, people not greeting each other, yeah? So I think going forward, it's going to be difficult. Let me now finish by testing something very nicely. When Nelson Mandela arrived in Germany, okay, in 1995, he was taught the Hitler sign. Okay, do you know the Hitler sign? Huh? Do you know the Hitler sign? Yes, no? No. Okay, let me teach you. They said to him, he must make a small circle. Can you make a small circle? Yeah? And then he said they must stretch the 3 fingers like that. Yeah? And then you stretch your hand. Okay? And they all said, Hail Mandela. Can you say Hail Mandela? Hail Mandela. Okay? And then they said to him, put that on your chin. Put that on your chin. Interesting, isn't it? So what is happening? I said, put it on your chin. Where's your chin? Your chin is there. It is because that's how we are taught. Yeah? That's how dangerous the teacher is, because you follow everything because he's got power. Even with me now, all of you at university, even professors, they do the same thing. I do this in the UK, I do this everywhere. Amazing, isn't it? Yeah? Because you are now feeling unsafe, you are now getting into the unknown, and you are depending on me. You can hear that I'm saying chin, but I'm putting it on the cheek, and you're comfortable. Yeah? But thank you very much. I think, I hope that all the speakers today and all the young people that came to this event have benefited greatly from the input. We are hoping and trusting that this is not the end, okay? And the journey is still very long. And the reason why I was inviting Andy on here as well was to say that we need to be confident going forward, because the future is ours and is in your hands, okay? So that's my passion for working with young people. It's very close to my heart. I think I'm a bit slower when I'm all by myself, but when I see you, I feel strong again. Do you want to come and make the announcement? So the best of friends are going to part. There is an announcement that has to be made, and from there we are.
Thank you very much. Thank you, the panelists. Thank you and thanks for our today's program director. We're supposed to end at 18:30. We are now 18:42, so we are about 12, 13 minutes late. But we also started 1 hour late, so we try to manage time. I have 2 announcements. Those who will be going by bus to St. Paul, those who are sleeping or staying at St. Paul, you are going with vehicle, plate number GR477D. GR477D, those who are sleeping at St. Paul. And then those who are sleeping or staying at IPRC Kigali, you are going by vehicle registration number GR745. 745. So don't miss your bus. It will be parked right at the entrance where we came from this morning. Announcement number 2. Tomorrow is a very another tough day. The ladies or the panelists who were here a while ago, they said they are talking to themselves. They needed to be addressing to the professors, to the vice chancellors, to the government officials. The idea and those who conceptualized the Youth Pan-African Youth Forum a day before the conference had this in mind. So please, this was meant for you to pick up the best ideas, such that if tomorrow we meet with the wider group that involves all government officials, all the different stakeholders, you already have something on plate to give to them. So tomorrow we have a very huge delegation. We'll be having ministers from different countries, your ministers. I think already we have arrivals of more than 4, and we're expecting more. We'll be having different prayers in the sector. And therefore, we have a bigger audience than we had today. And this was meant to prepare you such that you have the right ideas to put across. So it was not you talking to yourselves, but it is actually meant for you to prepare much more better. And with that, I want to give you a story. It's a joke, but it's also a story. It's about someone, a writer. He wrote a book. And the title of the book was How to Make Money. And then he attended a conference like this, and he was like, I wrote a book on how to make money, but I don't have money to print copies such that we can give to people. And one of the participants said, I think you should go back and read your book. Then you will get money to print so many copies. It is coming to us as people from TVET. When you go for a TVET program, you're expected to create, and we should not be the ones to say on the street, we don't have jobs. You see? So, and that is all about intercultural and life skills. Let's go for the programs and have the skills that we will go and sell, but not, again, coming back to our stakeholders and say, oh, you know what? I have a skill, but give me a job. You're supposed to give out a job or to create a job. So that ends today's program, and I want to thank you, to thank everyone for your time, for your patience, for your commitment, and for the courage you put together to have this wonderful day. And by this, we're going to end our today's session. We're going to have a cup of tea as we are going back to our hostels, to our hotels, and to our homes. And make sure you sleep well. If you have a friend in Rwanda, feel free to talk 3 or 4 words and be early tomorrow. Thank you very much.